The time has finally arrived to discuss Fantastic Four, spoiler-free. We'll start with initial impressions before diving into the introduction. Hello, Pop Culture Society. Let's talk about Fantastic Four. I just got back from the movies. I just watched it. And I have a few thoughts to share. First of all, based on my expectations, and keep in mind, I've been covering this movie for quite some time now. In my expectations, everything I thought I was going to see was covered. I didn't have any big surprises, unfortunately, because I have to constantly immerse myself in rumors and spoilers here, but I thought it was within my expectations. Like, some things even surprised me, some things made me go, oh, I didn't know it was going in that direction. This dialogue here was interesting. This quick exposition was good as it addressed the audience's potential doubts and adjusted some things. This here obviously has something cut out, and it was good that they cut it, so I think the movie pleased me in that regard. It pleased someone who was already aware of what was happening. I don't know how it's going to work for someone who isn't expecting anything, or for someone who only remembers the movies from back in 2005. Less than 2015, or for those who are expecting just another Marvel movie because it has characteristics that set it apart quite a bit from a Marvel film, and it's not just the setting. We'll talk about the setting in a bit, that Marvel dynamic from movies like Iron Man, which was so copied and repeated. It's more disguised here. It doesn't have those heavy plots broken up by a joke. It doesn't have that specific Marvel editing style, and mainly because it's not a shared universe. Not up to this point. I think that gave the movie more room to show itself because it's a new universe, a new world, new characters with new superpowers, a range of new villains. And here I make a brief comparison with Superman. Superman was also a movie that, as you know, I watched and liked. But one of my criticisms of Superman is that there's too much to show in too little time. Superman needed to set up several pillars. So it's not just Superman that exists here. There's Superman, there's Superman's group, there's the Daily Planet crew, there are the superheroes who interact with Superman, and there are the villains. It's a lot to set up at the same time. The Fantastic Four has an advantage. There's less to set up. If in this universe the Fantastic Four had the Avengers, the X-Men, if they showed up and interacted, and then you had the Avengers villains, the Fantastic Four's villains, the X-Men's villains, it would get overwhelming. So the first Marvel movies had this advantage of starting in a universe where nothing else is happening except one superhero. The Fantastic Four also has this advantage. There's nothing happening except for the life and influence of that supergroup in that environment. And Matt Shackman, the director who brought us WandaVision, he brought that experience to the Fantastic Four. WandaVision does this thing all the time with references to television from the 50s, 60s, 70s, up to the 90s. Matt Shackman brings that to the Fantastic Four, and it was the best decision he could make. The retro future of the Fantastic Four is wonderful. It's a rich environment. It's a vibrant environment. It's a place you believe in despite all the craziness in it. And being such a, pardon the word, fantastic, fabulous environment, you accept the absurd more. There are things in this movie that in a Marvel Studios film set in the established Marvel universe might seem too strange, especially on planet Earth or on another planet, so to speak, because in a way it's another planet. Since it's another planet, so to speak, with a different social dynamic, with different expectations from people about what's happening, the movie allows itself to be much bolder in the absurd, in the fantastic, in the fabulous, in the inventive. It gives itself the right to be creative, which, comparing once again, Superman does too. Superman, by bringing a new universe, a new Detective Comics universe, but a Detective Comics universe that isn't really planet Earth. It's a planet that's already been living with superhumans for 300 years. This world of the Fantastic Four has already been interacting with the Fantastic Four for 4 years. It was also heavily influenced by Reed's inventions and their impact. the cultural impact that this quartet. The environment produced an Earth-like planet similar to the United States of America. It's a New York completely influenced. This magnificent quartet returned from space with superpowers. So the movie brings this retro-futuristic universe in a very well orchestrated way. It's very beautiful. Everything is really cool. The references to the 60s are there, and it's really cool. I'm a bit biased as a 60s guy. There are Beatles here, and I like the 60s. We have our friend here, Sean Connery. So I like that era. I admire the aesthetics of that time. Whenever it goes back to the aesthetics of that era, I like it, and I keep talking about it. I had this impression before the movie, and I still have it after the movie, that we missed the opportunity to restart the Marvel Universe within the Fantastic Four universe, because we already know that the Fantastic Four will join the Avengers. In the meantime, this is the 828, which is what this universe became known as. It's a universe that could give us a really cool Marvel universe, but also a very, very artificial one. Very much within that retro-futuristic universe. I was dying to see what Iron Man would be like there. I wanted to see what Ant-Man is like in that world. I think it's Black Panther or Wakanda in that universe. That makes me really sad. Not having much more of this universe from now on. After Credits 2 is really important. And the other one is more for fun. They put the most important one. Previously, they used the first animated post-credit scene to keep audiences engaged until the very end. Then there are all those credits there. And those who actually stay until the very end. They get a little treat, but it's nothing to, wow, you really have to stay to watch. You can skip it if you're not really in the mood. Soon it'll show up on social media and you'll see it anyway. The special effects are convincing. They had time to work on them. Once again, the whole world collaborates so that these effects aren't as bad as Galactus or the Silver Surfer, which, despite the fear we had, maybe even unfounded and based on other things, in other aspects it's convincing. The effect turned out nice. The movie has some negative points that I want to discuss in my spoiler-free review, which isn't really a review yet. These are just my impressions. The soundtrack is wonderful. Michael Giacchino brings an epic score to the Fantastic Four. The performances are really well done. The quartet truly gives off a sense of family. Those family bonds are there, even in the things that border on the mundane, the everyday stuff that you'll relate to with your own family, but that happens in that crazy world. So I think the movie is a big win for Marvel. I think Marvel delivered a really fun movie. It's going to please people. You don't need to do any homework. You don't need to understand anything beforehand. And that's what I wanted to talk to you about. What are your expectations for the Fantastic Four? Right down here below. I'll be back soon with more from Pop Culture. See you later. See you soon. See you in a bit. That was another video from Cuatro Coisas, which posts at least 3 videos daily. If you enjoyed it, check out the suggested videos. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on notifications for updates. Thanks for watching. See you next time.